In 2016, a former national fencer from South Korea grabbed the country's attention with details of a friendship gone wrong. The press called Ko Young-tae a toy boy, who worked the host bars in Gangnam, a wealthy district in Seoul, and mingled with rich women, an allegation he denies. His expose, however, spelled the end for the most powerful woman in South Korea at the time, the nation's first female president, Park Geun-hye, who was eventually found guilty of demanding millions from 3 chaebol businesses, including Samsung. The former president's fall into disgrace has all the makings of a bizarre political drama: influence peddling, corruption, abuse of power, shamanism, and a whistleblower exacting revenge over a puppy, revealing a scam involving tens of millions of dollars. This is the big steal. Sixty-year-old Park Geun-hye was elected South Korea's first female president in 2012 on the promise to reduce economic inequality and rein in big business.
저는 오늘 대한민국의 제18대 대통령에 취임하면서 희망의 새 시대를 열겠다는 각오로.
Her political pedigree as the daughter of former military strongman and President Park Chung-hee was a key factor in her victory. Her late father seized power in a coup in 1961 and declared a military dictatorship. Between 1963 and 1979, he imposed a harsh system of authoritarian rule and made himself president for life. Although there were waves of protests against his dictatorship, he is also fondly remembered by some as the man who lifted Korea out of poverty with a series of economic reforms. The elder Park pursued a policy of rapid economic development. He struck deals with a number of companies in the 1960s, giving them privileges and access to cheap credit if they met government targets. In return, these companies gave politicians kickbacks. His plan spurred development, but it also created a culture of cronyism that permeates national politics to this day. Park Geun-hye grew up during tumultuous times under her father's rule. She was only 22 years old when her mother was assassinated in 1974. Devastated, she assumed the duty as the nation's first lady. It was then that she was approached by Choi Tae-min,
새마음 갖기 운동본부를 만든 사람이 최순실 씨의 아버지인 최태민 목사였기 때문입니다.
a shamanistic cult leader and self-proclaimed pastor. Dubbed the Korean Rasputin, he founded his own religion called the Church of Eternal Life, a mix of Christianity, Buddhism, and Korean shamanism, or Muism. Choi claimed that he was a psychic and a messenger of God who could receive messages from Park's deceased mother. But disaster struck again when Park's father was assassinated in 1979. A grieving Park turned to Choi even more and saw him as a replacement father figure. A confidential 2007 US diplomatic cable published by WikiLeaks referred to rumors that Choi had complete control over Park's body and soul, and that his children accumulated enormous wealth as a result. After Choi Tae-min's death, she became close friends with his daughter, Choi Soon-si.
마치 연예인처럼 활짝 웃으며 손을 흔드는 그를 그림자처럼 따라다니는 한 여인.
Her devotion to the religion continued, so much so that her estranged siblings filed a 12-page petition to then-President Roh Tae-woo, pleading that their sister be rescued from Choi's grip. Park retreated from public life after her father's assassination, but reappeared in politics in 1998 at the height of the Asian financial crisis, with a vow to save the country. She won a decisive victory as a conservative candidate in the election for the National Assembly, and until 2012, served 4 terms. Then, in 2012, Park won a historic presidential election. Cho Soon-si, already a bosom friend, also became her closest confidant in politics as well. According to the Korea Herald, Choi was covertly mentioned in political circles as the invisible hand guiding Park. But South Korea did not know how problematic this relationship was until Ko Yung-tae, a close friend of Che, decided to blow the whistle on their relationship, exposing a web of deceit and fraud. According to Ko, he met Che through a friend in 2012, but other reports allege that Ko met Che as early as 2006 when he was working at a host bar. With the help of Che, Ko got into fashion design. On one occasion, President Park herself was seen carrying a handbag from his collection, giving his career a tremendous boost. But things took a dramatic turn in 2014, and all because of Man's best friend. You see, Che asked Ko to take care of her daughter's puppy. Ko accepted, but eventually left the dog in his house to play some golf. Che found out and was furious, accusing Ko of abandoning the puppy. Hurt, Ko decided to exact revenge by going to the press with details about Che and Park's unusual friendship. Ko mentioned in his testimony that Che had access to classified presidential documents and that her favorite pastime was editing Park's speeches. It was a shocking revelation, with many Korean lawmakers denouncing it as an affront to democracy. It was also revealed that Che used her relationship with Park to extort over $60 million from Korean chaebols, or family-owned business conglomerates, in the form of donations to two foundations she ran. President Park was also found guilty of asking for $6.5 million in bribes from the Lotte Group in return for favors. By 2016, the scandal dubbed Chegate had already sparked massive public outrage. Tens of thousands took to the streets to demand the resignation of yet another corrupt president.
몸통은 박근혜다!
Park Geun-hye was deposed on March 10, 2017, and sentenced to a 22-year prison term. She only spent over 4 years behind bars, however. On December 2021, current President Moon Jae-in granted a special pardon to Park, citing her deteriorating health. But ultimately, Park was just one of several South Korean presidents to be indicted for corruption. Critics have described this pattern of corruption in South Korean politics as long and complicated, and is deeply connected to the establishment of big business or chaebols in the country. This system of political patronage endures in South Korean politics mainly due to an authoritarian legacy and top-down decision-making. It remains to be seen whether the nation has learned its lessons and will finally break free from the cycle of corruption.